Who wants to open the podcast? Who wants to introduce us? Jenny's got to do it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Dork Trek. Hi, we're dorks.
What do we do on Dork Trek, Jenny?
We watch and review every episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I almost said The Next Generation. I'm a couple years behind.
I mean,
that too.
It's habit. It's a habit, you know?
That was the last time you did the intro. We were watching TNG.
I think that's fact. That's fact.
See, the episode we watched this week was season 5, episode 8. It's called Things Past. Was that like a wonk wonk? Did I just hear a wonk wonk?
Oh,
Wonk
my table was
wonk. Wonk.
Sure.
It was the chair made a sound.
Wonk wonk.
Sure, Ben.
Now
I was looking for the title and could not find it.
Mhm.
Things past.
Because I was
Things
like,
past.
was it past tense? Was it past prologue?
Nah, different past one.
Ghosts of Star Trek Past.
It's
Yes.
things past, like salt and the carrots, the potatoes.
Yes.
You pass all these things.
Yes.
There's things that are
I don't
past.
think that's how it.
Pass the gravy, please.
Yeah.
I love LeVar Burton directed this episode. He's our main man and best friend. I love how he used the Michael Jackson Thriller effect when Odo at the end of the episode finds out what's really happening when the camera kind of pans in on him closely. Every time I see that, I just think of the Michael Jackson Thriller video when the girl sees zombie Michael Jackson for the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty time test. Like, yeah. It would have been so
Odo
awesome
had started doing that. Holy shit.
if Odo would have been a zombie after that
And all the
scene.
Cardassians are dancing behind him.
Well, there were kind of zombies in the episode.
Because this is Odo.
It's close to Bajor.
Then if we heard the Vincent Price voiceover, that would have been the best.
Was
To
he still-
terrorize.
Odo just starts laughing.
To terrorize y'all star system. Yeah, it was really good. It was really good. But yeah, so things past. I don't really know. I mean, I don't know how long we can really talk about this episode. It's only a paragraph on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
We go to Memory Alpha, and I'm sure there's like 18 pages.
Well, those people have
It's
nothing.
like a doctoral thesis on it.
It's longer than the actual script.
Much like these episodes of ours are longer than the actual episodes of the show.
Yes,
Exactly.
but to be fair, I mean, we're pontificating. We kind of go off on tangents, and we have side piece conversations and things of that nature. I mean, it's
Side piece.
it's
I'm
where
going
the
to have a conversation with my side piece.
it's
Yeah.
where the conversation takes us. We can't help what we do and where we are. The one Cardassian in the episode who is the station security chief is the guy from that
Red
70s
Foreman.
show. It's Red Foreman. That's yeah.
Federation president himself.
What?
Yeah.
President of the
missed that.
Federation.
The guy from RoboCop.
Yep.
What else is
There's also in a Voyager episode that you guys haven't seen yet.
Thank God.
Well, no, that's actually Year of Hell, I think.
Ah,
I want to say.
I'm telling you, man, like getting that first Star Trek gig as an actor had to be the best thing in the entire world, because if you did it well, you just kept coming back and coming back and coming back. I mean, LeVar Burton's directing the episode, you know?
Well, I mean, he was I mean, that's the thing is the regulars. The regulars had, what do you call it? Director school, I think, was what they talked about in the book. They were talking about that, where if you showed an interest, then they would be like, okay, well, you've got to go hang out with this guy.
And if you were a man, I noticed none of the female.
No, Rosario Dawson from Voyager.
That didn't count.
Direct.
That's because nobody wanted to direct Voyager.
Well, no, she directed some of the Enterprise episodes.
They did.
Yeah.
Rosario Dawson,
difference.
Rosario Dawson from Daredevil?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not her. What?
You're thinking of the half Klingon lady.
Yeah, the B'Elanna Torres.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Puerto Rican Klingon. Yeah, what is her real name?
It's
actually-
not Rosario Dawson. It's
She actually went on to direct a lot of stuff.
Yeah, she's one of the better directors to come out of the Star Trek universe.
What is her name now? I can't fucking
It's
remember.
not Rosario Dawson.
Hang on. I was like, what?
that should have been the sign that that all those Netflix Marvel series were going to end is when she stopped showing up anymore.
Yeah,
fuck this.
She's
Without her, it's just like the universe falls apart.
she's wonderful. Roxanne Dawson.
Roxanne Dawson.
Roxanne. She has directed everything. I mean, like, she's directed theater, television. She directed some episodes of Voyager, Charmed, The Division, Enterprise, The OC, Crossing Jordan, Cold Case, The Closer, Heroes, Caprica, The Mentalist, The Good Wife. I mean, she is the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I want to say she's even like a producer of, she's a producer of Crossing Jordan and Cold Case and Scandal. So yeah, dude, she definitely did it right.
And she killed a man in Nam.
She did?
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up because we're not at war with Nam anymore. But
She just went over there.
she was on vacation and she's like, Charlie in the tree, and it's like, fuck.
She killed
But
him.
it was just some guy named Charlie.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, he wasn't even Vietnamese. It was just
some guy.
Charlie Chaplin.
So since you mentioned Rosario Dawson, I Googled her because I wanted to see her face. And apparently, she's been dating Senator Cory Booker for the last month.
What?
Good for
Yes.
her.
Wow.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for everybody. I mean, Star Trek has a connection to the White House. I mean, look at President Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Yep.
He had a big connection to Voyager. Maybe Cory Booker's like, look, if I get on that Voyager tip, I'll be president, son.
That was one of my most controversial blog posts. Was Star Trek elected a president?
It's not controversial at all. That's exactly what happened.
I got that was some of the few times when I was doing the comic, I would either get "You're too political."
Did you ever get "You're too sexy"?
No, I got
You are now.
"In Loving Jew" was a common one.
Ah.
And
At least they're reading, though, right?
I don't know why you think you're so funny, and it was like, oh, I don't.
And then it was and love and you after that. I don't know why you're so funny, comma.
Yeah.
And love
These
and
are all one comment.
yeah.
Why don't you call me back?
Well, to be fair, much like we were talking about with podcasts,
You're not my real father.
it's
I
nice.
actually got that one once.
It's nice to get any feedback when you're doing things like this. So
Well, yeah. You
Sometimes I
can't-
actually wish that somebody would send me some hate mail. That means that I know I would be doing something right.
yeah,
That's one of my things. I mean, it's easier when you're doing political shit like I used to do, but I mean, because it just draws it out of people. But I mean, I was back during the sane crazy times, just like Romney and the Tea Party versus Collington.
Hamburgers.
Mitt Romney is like at this point he might as well be Stalin. I mean, they've gone so far right at this point that Romney's like, he might as well be a Democrat.
Well, no, I remember those bumper stickers after Obama got elected that they had the George W. Bush bumper stickers, and they're like, "Miss me yet?" I want to get one of those now because I actually do. Finally miss him. It's like, oh, this war criminal was actually better. I'm sorry.
Now, when you were doing your webcomic, Ben, how many readers were you getting a day?
Once I discovered Reddit, a lot more than I was. I think my peak. Okay, so the biggest thing I ever did in one day was the Justice League thing.
Yes, I remember that.
That was 76,000 views in one day. And that was insanity. And by the end of the day, people were taking credit for it and sharing it as their own. So that
That's
was
how you
lovely.
know you've really succeeded.
Yeah.
And well, then I've told the story before. That was the day that I got my French audience because a French newspaper shared it.
Ooh la la.
And then all of a sudden, I would occasionally tweet in French back in the day because, you know, it was just like, okay.
Monsieur me comic is a comic genius.
I had the Jerry Lewis effect, apparently.
Yeah, nice. Let me hear Jerry Lewis impersonation.
No.
Come on, you do an impersonation.
I haven't done it in a long time. I don't know if I could get the right register in this room.
Nobody knows Jerry Lewis anymore.
Yeah, I mean, come on. He's dead, isn't he? Isn't he dead?
I think he's dead.
I think he's dead. If he's not, he should be.
He's just a mean old man his last few years.
Yeah, he died.
So.
He died in 2017 like everybody else did.
Yeah. You know, after Dean Martin died, he was just, you know, there were no coattails to hang on. So it was just kind of stumbling.
Nice lady.
Lady. Oi.
That was good.
Uh-huh. The wacky scientist. With the boobs and the things and the ring-a-ding.
With the boobs and the things and the ring-a-dings. Yeah, so anyway.
Are like, what the fuck is he doing over there again?
They're just like, they probably have earplugs in.
It's Wednesday. Put the plugs in, Mama.
Yeah.
Put the plugs in.
So Cisco, Odo, Dax, and Garrick are traveling back from a conference.
They tried to like surprise us with Odo being on board too, because it just starts off with Dax and Cisco and Garrick talking to each other, and then all of a sudden they do a dramatic pan over. Oh, Odo's here too.
They seem to like you, Mr. Odo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand.
I don't understand.
You had a fan club. It's just like at the they're asking for autographs, and you said you'd give them for a $20 donation to the Red Cross. And
That's nice of Odo to do that.
very nice gesture, Odo.
Yeah, give a $20
Red
donation
Cross
to the Bajoran Red Cross.
for the orphans.
The war orphans
People are always raising money for the orphans on Bajor. So.
Mm-hmm.
and the farmers.
There's really no orphans though.
Dennis, you can get into a lot of trouble for that, man.
Yeah, with who?
I don't know.
Bajorans?
The Bajoran orphan people.
The people running the fake Bajoran orphanages?
I've seen the orphans, Dennis.
No, you haven't.
There was an episode about this. I think Garrick actually fixed their computer.
Didn't he?
Upgraded them to a 64-bit Windows 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a whole thing about that. They were looking for the missing girl or something, and the one with Goldicott's daughter.
Oh, yeah. I remember
They
that.
went to the orphanage, and he had to fix the computer so he could hack the computer.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, tell me I'm wrong, bitches.
I mean, no one said you were wrong. You just got real hostile. Like, no one said
We
you were wrong.
challenge
at all.
Star Trek knowledge.
Not a part of the episode that we remember. That's
How
all.
dare you? There's a lot of episodes I don't remember. Like sometimes I'll just sit down and watch Star Trek and go, like even TNG, I'll just sit down and go, I don't remember any of this. And I'll go, oh yeah, I do. All right, I got it.
That happened to me with Law and Order the other day. It was weird because I had it on and I was like, well, I knew all the episodes leading up to it. I don't recognize this one. And then like 40 minutes into it, I was like, oh, it's this one. But like the beginning was just weird.
What was the episode about?
It was the dude who, like at the end of it, he confesses to being like a serial killer who kept moving across the country. Like he was like from Seattle and Houston. And that's how they ended up getting him, is because they threatened to extradite him to Houston.
Oh.
And then he
I think
admitted.
I remember this one.
Yeah, he admitted to murdering all these other people or whatever.
Who are the detectives on this episode?
This is Briscoe and Green.
Okay.
The Dream Team.
Yep.
And Angie Harmon. This is in her first season.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying the other day, like my favorite is season 11. I just finished season 11 because it's Angie Harmon and them, and Diane Weist is the DA.
Yeah.
My favorite casting.
She's
I love
okay
her.
as DA.
I love her.
This past weekend, I watched a lot of comedies from the 70s
Mm-hmm.
and 80s. And some of them, there were some clips I saw from Woody Allen movies, and she's all over those fucking things. And it's her
Yeah.
young, and I was like, the DA.
Didn't she win an Oscar for Bullets Over Broadway?
Probably.
Something like that. I know she was in Husbands and Wives, I think, too. Hannah and Her Sisters is another good one.
Radio Days.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I rewatched My Favorite Year, which is my favorite movie, and then I was like, oh well, I was looking at the background, and then it's like, oh, this is actually based on the writers' room from the Sid Caesar Show, and Mel Brooks was there, and Woody Allen, and then it was like, oh yeah, because I guess this guy who's a hypochondriac in this other movie based on the same cast was based on Woody Allen because he's a hypochondriac, and they were like, no, actually, that part of Woody Allen's act was Woody Allen actually making fun of Mel Brooks because Mel Brooks was like a major hypochondriac back then. And so I just started diving down this weird hole of 1950s.
Who hasn't dived down a
comedy.
weird hole now and then?
I was drinking. It was insane.
Gotta get dirty in those weird holes.
Diane Wiest had, 80... She did Footloose in 84, and then Purple Rose of Cairo in 85, Hannah and Her Sisters in 86, which she won an Academy Award.
Fuck that movie.
Radio Days, which she was wonderful. The Radio Days is a great film. September, which I haven't seen that Woody Allen film, but September.
I haven't seen any movies.
She was in The Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was the mom.
Bright Lights, Big City. She was also in.
Yeah, she was the mom. I don't know.
Parenthood was fantastic.
She was the mom.
Edward Scissorhands.
Another mom.
Yeah, so she was Bullets Over Broadway in 94. So yeah, dude, she was killing it.
Yeah.
She's wonderful.
So now Bullets Over Broadway in 94, how long after that was it like another 6 years or so before she got to Law and Order?
94 was Bullets Over Broadway. Law and Order was 2000. Yeah.
6 years. Okay.
And she only did that for 2 years, so that's cool, man. Yeah, I thought she was
on there longer.
No, it just says according to her Wikipedia page, 2 years.
Because then Fred Thompson takes over.
Yeah.
Okay, I was about to ask if he was before or after her.
No, and then he left to try to go be president, and that didn't go well.
Well, he became a senator or a congressman for a while.
Well, he was a senator first, and then he retired from politics, I think.
He was still a senator when he was on Die Hard 2.
Yeah, he was a senator when he was in Hunt for Red October as well.
Yeah. Was he? I thought he was out of the office. Okay.
No, then he started doing like acting because then he was on Law and Order and he was like real Southern, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, how the hell do we get a Southern DA in Manhattan?
Come on, Jack.
Come on, Jack.
You gotta get some convictions here.
Come on, Jack. You got to get in the chair.
I'm from the south side of Manhattan. Wait, what?
There was some like People, the magazine People had a video up this week about Elizabeth Rahm and the lessons she learned from Jerry Orbach, and I tried to watch it, but I couldn't. But then I did.
She learned from Jerry Orbach.
Yeah, I don't know, like the lessons she learned about life from Jerry Orbach, and then at the end of the video,
In the show?
Yes, I don't know. I'm just telling you, it was like a little video from People, and I watched it. At the end of the video, she was like, "Are you watching this because I'm gay?" And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?
What?
It doesn't make any sense, lady."
Okay, I need to see this video.
That was
No,
cool.
it's not true. I made that part up. Yeah, that's just the way she left Law and Order. All of a sudden, are you firing me because I'm gay? And she's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" No, that doesn't make any sense at all. So anyway, Star Trek.
She did suck though. She was
Yeah.
pretty bad. Like going back and watching the episode,
I
she was
think
pretty
some of it.
terrible.
I think some of it too was who she had to follow because Angie Harmon was so good.
Right.
You know, because Angie Harmon was like sultry and had that smoky voice and just wanted to give everybody the
I mean, as an ADA, like she sucked. She wasn't good at her job.
But her conviction rate wasn't that great, or
She was just always most of the time she was wrong about stuff. Like it just seems like she was there to be wrong, and then Jack had to reel her in and get things.
Every episode I've seen recently, because I just started on her season, like they keep getting the wrong guy, and they'll like take him to court, and like even convicted the wrong person. I think in one of the episodes,
Yeah.
I was like,
Jesus.
"How did this happen?"
And the one time she was a hero, she went into the store to help
Yes.
rescue a hostage, and then she ends up going up in front of the bar association
They
because
tried.
she misrepresented herself as a lawyer.
That was hilarious.
Yeah. She could not win for anything.
Yeah, but
She's gay.
it's because she's gay. That's what happens.
It must be.
Mhm.
But I mean, like, again, though, I think maybe it was like because Angie Harmon was ahead of her. I don't know why we just don't do a Law and Order podcast.
I was just thinking, like, whenever we do a Law and Order podcast, I think we're just going to end up talking about Star Trek.
I'm going to talk about baseball and Star Trek.
Well, after tomorrow, we're going to have plenty of Star Trek to talk about. So
Yeah, because
this show comes out
Thursday.
tomorrow,
It'll be out
right?
tomorrow. I want to record and do like a little Patreon thing like we used to do.
I'm waiting until tomorrow.
I know. I heard
Well,
to get a better deal.
Well, yeah. Did I say that? Which cat did I say?
I told him.
Jenny told me already.
you haven't even watched the short treks yet?
No, I'll watch them tomorrow. I ain't paying for that shit.
I haven't watched this. I renewed my my Discovery account. It's just my Discovery account. It's not. I don't watch anything else on there.
I know.
I renewed my.
I see other stuff like, ooh, they have that. I'm not
Like the one thing I do really want to watch is they have all the Odd Couple episodes.
Yeah.
And I love the Odd Couple. But anyway, so I renewed my Discovery account and we binge watched the season and shit, man, it's really good.
Mhm.
The first season is really good.
Once I got past it being canonical Star Trek and just was like, okay, just accept it for what it is and enjoy it. And
It was good.
And they would have little tips of the hat to canon. I mean, you've got fucking Atticus Finch's grandson playing Spock.
My lady.
That's fucking awesome.
My trick.
I don't get what you're making.
Well,
fun
you're tipping a hat and Jenny said, my trick.
I didn't know I was hat tipping.
You said they tipped the hat to
You
Cam.
literally said they made
Yeah.
a tip of the hat to
Oh,
Ken.
I thought but you said I was hat tipping, and no.
They
You
were.
cow tipping.
Yeah. But no, I really enjoyed it, man. I think it's good. I think it's great. I really enjoyed Discovery. It was cool.
Well,
When does Twilight Zone come out?
I think later in the year.
Well, how many episodes of Star Trek are there? And it'll be that many weeks later
At least, yeah.
if you want to keep me on the subscription.
And then the Picard show, which I heard some rumors about the Picard show that made me nervous.
I heard some shit today as well. And,
That it might be in like the JJ Universe timeline.
well,
No,
no,
it's prime timeline, but post destruction of Romulus.
yeah, because that all happened in the prime timeline.
Yes.
The black hole, the destruction of Romulus, and Spock going back in time. That was the prime timeline. At the
What?
Like
beginning
Star
of the
Trek
Star Trek
2009 began, or the inciting incident is the destruction of Romulus from a supernova, and Spock was trying to save them with the red matter,
That's right.
and so Picard takes place after that happens in the prime timeline, though.
So wait a minute. So in the real Star Trek timeline, like the real one with
that we
At-
watched.
huh?
The
What
real
did you
one
say?
that we all watched.
Yeah, the real one with Kirk and McCoy but with the actual actors from the 60s.
Yes.
At the end of that timeline somewhere, Romulus blows up.
Yeah.
Yes. That. Did you not watch the Jar Jar movie?
I did,
That's
but
the inciting incident that.
That's why.
I no. I know. I
Jason
understand.
Spock.
Hi, I'm Nero. No, I understand all that, but I'm saying, like, when in the timeline does that happen?
It's like
Post-
2390 something.
No.
Okay.
Was it 20? I thought it was 24. It was into the 2400s.
It was like at the turn of the century ish.
Yeah.
Because I found it odd that Spock was still alive. That's why it was.
Well, he was really old.
He's Vulcan, man.
I mean, come on.
They
I
live
mean,
forever.
though-
Sarek was
well-
still alive in freaking TNG.
Well, yeah, but he died.
Yeah.
But so then Spock had a lot of good years left. in
He
him.
did.
But I saw something on one of the Wikipedia, not Wikipedia, but one of the wikis for Star Trek. It may have been Memory Alpha. But when it showed the birth year and death year of Spock, it looked like he was only 30-something years old. And I'm like, what the that bullshit, that's wrong. And then I was like, oh no, because he time traveled to the Jar Jar timeline.
It's canon.
And so he died in the
1
past.
year is prime and 1 year is Kelvin.
He actually lived like 100 something or whatever, but not in a row.
Right.
All right, so it says here the destruction of Romulus in the year 2387 is depicted in the 2009 Star Trek remake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Star Trek Online was what was I was getting the.
That's only like what 14 years after TNG wraps up.
Well, TNG
16
was in 71 was the end of TNG.
something like that.
Yeah.
So that's not a lot of time. That's interesting. Okay. Huh.
Wait, did Voyager, the starship, launch 100 years after the V'ger incident?
Let's not talk about the V'ger incident.
Still
Let's pretend that never happened. I'm still having flashbacks of
Jenny
people.
finally came to a realization, and I appreciated her comment. So afterwards, about my comments, I like how I'm looking at her box on the screen, like she can see me, like I'm making eye contact. Right? Jenny?
That's the whole Voyage. That's the whole V'ger movie. You're just. I think Jenny froze. You're just looking at people looking at monitors. Is everybody frozen?
Is everybody frozen?
This is odd.
Yeah.
Well,
while they unfreeze, so last night I was watching the Lakers game, and I had a Star Trek the motion picture moment with it, because at the very end of the game, there's like 20 seconds left in the game. The Lakers are going to win, but instead of showing the game, they do like this players only thing where they don't have a play-by-play. They have like these players from bygone eras call the game from the studio, and it's fucking dumb. And I hate it. But at the end of the game, they show these guys watching the game on their big TV that they have in there. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you showing these guys watching the game? It's no sense whatsoever. You can't see their faces. You see them looking at the screen and talking. It's like, what's happening here?
From this day forward, that shall ever be known as Star Trek the motion picturing.
Yeah.
Why are they doing that?
Here, watch these people watch something.
Yeah, so back to the episode.
Did we watch an episode this week?
Yeah,
Did we even start on the episode?
We got through the opening like 45 seconds.
Yeah.
The credits.
Yeah.
No, we haven't even gotten
they're having that conversation, and then they cut to the station, and they're like, "Oh, here comes the runabout, but the life signs are weak." Blah blah.
Dork is very good at being a commander, by the way. Like he's a good number one. Like he's got it all locked up. Like he be doing it. And he looks handsome in the red.
I thought that Bajoran lady was from another, like a TNG episode. She looks familiar, but
they all look the same to you, huh, Dennis?
Damn.
Kind of.
He's not the ensign that got killed, Dennis. Damn it.
I don't know.
Me neither. I thought it was Mrs. Huxtable at first. I was like, no, that's not Mrs. Huxtable. That's not Ahmad Rashad. Felicia Rashad. That's not Felicia Rashad. That must be. No, that's not the lady. That's not CC.
That Karen Parsons?
That's not CCM Pounder, whatever her name is.
CCH founder.
No, what was
CCM is like the company that makes hockey sticks and
That's
hockey
right.
equipment.
That's right.
Yeah.
before she married Ahmad Rashad? What was her last name?
I guess we could look. I'm not
I
really.
mean, NBC made such a big deal about that when it happened. Like, she was showing up on sports shows and shit, where they were like, "Oh, you know," it was like, you know, the NBC family. Huh? Well, no, because when he used to be a sportscaster for NBC.
Yeah.
And then
he used to host NBA Inside Stuff for a while.
Yeah, and so they were doing like, it's like NBC royalty or something, because he's from our sports side of the house, she's from the entertainment side of the house, and
all right, her real name is
she's a doctor.
Felicia Ayers Allen.
Is she Debbie Allen's sister?
Yes.
Also Debbie Gibson's sister.
And Ryan Reynolds.
Is she really Debbie Allen's sister?
No.
Steve Allen's sister.
She is Debbie Allen's sister. Huh. She is. Weird.
Steve Allen's daughters.
I was thinking about the white lady. Isn't there a white lady named Debbie Allen? I'm thinking of Debbie Reynolds. Never mind.
That's Ryan Reynolds. Carrie Fisher and Ryan Reynolds are siblings because Debbie Reynolds is the mother, right?
I don't know. All I know is that CCM Pounder would make a good captain on Star Trek. That's all I'm saying.
In a porn
And
Star Trek.
She'd probably be an
Also-
admiral now.
Book it. Make
I love
that
CCH
happen.
Pounder, man. She
So
was
do
great.
I.
She was great in The Shield.
Oh, she was so good.
I wanted her to be Amanda Waller in that Suicide Squad movie.
She would have been amazing as Amanda Waller.
She was already Amanda Waller in the cartoon. Why not just?
Yeah. Yeah, they totally dropped the ball on that one. CCM Pounder, who's
Not that. I mean, Viola Davis. Yeah, she's great. But CCH Pounder.
CCH and CCH
Got a cool name.
I want to say she was in a RoboCop movie too.
I don't recall
Again,
that.
I'm not going to look it up. I don't feel like it. But yeah, so they do some Star Trek stuff, and all of a sudden they back in the future, Jack. They back in the past, baby.
Our future, their past.
They go back to the future.
Gotta go back in time.
Gotta get back in time. Gotta get back in.
You remember that there used to be a sketch on Saturday Night Live, and it may have been Dana Carvey era, but whenever the guest host would be on, they had this stupid thing, and it was just a running thing. At least 4 or 5 times they did this, where the celebrity would get on the elevator, and then one of their regular cast members were on the elevator, and they'd notice, oh, that's Sting, and he'd be like, try to make little comments or whatever under his breath so that he'd notice.
Oh, a little comment.
Yeah, and so finally he, like Roxanne, and Sting would look over and be like, yeah. You don't have to turn the red light.
I don't know.
And
You can keep doing the bit, but it doesn't ring
So
a bell.
Huey Lewis was on, and then the guy was like, "Gotta go back in time."
Was he making coffee?
I could see Kevin Nealon doing that.
That wasn't Kevin. It may have been the making copy guy that you were about to say.
Rob Schneider?
It may have been him.
That's a tough elevator ride.
Yeah.
I would
You
hope
can
the
do
cables
it.
would break and we'd all die.
Can't remember though who it was, and now.
I think one of my favorite SNL bits of all time was the Chris Farley interview show where he would just have the person on there and just like, remember when you did that? That was awesome.
Paul McCartney was probably the best one.
Yeah, the Paul McCartney one was great.
Remember when you were in the Beatles? Pretty awesome.
That's why I won't give interviews, because I pretty much imagine it's going to go like that every single time.
Yeah.
I almost did that with Beverly Crusher, and just like remember when you were in the movie with
Remember when you killed everyone on the ship?
remember when you were in the movie with David Bowie? Well, yeah, great acting with David Bowie. He was very professional, and the choreography on that was very complicated. Yeah, and that was great.
What movie
Well,
was
she
she in
just
with
took
David
over.
Bowie?
She wasn't in the movie. She did where he's the Goblin King. She was
Labyrinth?
Yeah, she was choreography.
She was actually David Bowie's codpiece. Like that's who she She crawled into his pantaloons and just
Like she did a lot of
Copies.
the
I do that
Muppet
job.
choreography. She did a lot of behind the scenes stuff. That's why she originally went by Gates McFadden on Star Trek, because her
What's your
professional
real name?
well, her professional name was when she was on stage and when she was like, back east.
was Mercedes.
No, Cheryl. Her
Give it
real
up
name
for
is
Mercedes. All right.
her real name is
Cinema.
Cheryl McFadden.
Taking the stage.
Pancake ass taking the stage. All right.
The steamroller herself.
Make sure those dollars are flat, just like her ass. Yeah.
She's a nice lady.
I'm sure she's wonderful. I mean, but she got a
She's in great
pancake
shape.
ass.
I mean, she's like, late.
Last place in the twerking competition yet again.
It's not really a butt. It's just a back with a crack in it. All right.
It's just upper legs.
Just back and legs. All right. Yeah. So anyway, they do the thing and they go back in time, and then they're on the station when it's Tobak Nor or whatever it's called, and they're bajoring people.
Rock no.
And your man knows Odo knows who everybody is, and they're trying to figure out why and how and who they are and what they're doing. And then and then Mr. fucking smooth operator, he's just such a creep. Space Harvey Weinstein.
Gold
I just
Ducat.
want a friend.
Gold Ducat.
Just need somebody to talk to. People don't understand the pressure that it is to be in
Pour
charge
yourself
like
some
this.
wine. Yeah, that's right.
You know, I can't talk to the people under me. I can't.
Oh, you never had that before? It's supposed to taste a little fizzy. Don't worry about it.
And just stand there and watch me masturbate.
Into the slant.
Space Louis C.K. But yeah, so he's kind of a creep, which was probably the funniest part of the episode. Just creeping people out.
I like when she took him out. That was nice.
She's really a fucking fantastic actress, though. I have to say, like, this episode, I mean, she was kind of doing levels upon levels on this because she's playing somebody who's pretending to be like, oh, I'm just a scared Bajoran, but is really waiting for the right opportunity to, like, just knock this guy out, you know?
Yeah.
She totally sold it. It was amazing.
That's what the Resistance, you know, if they really wanted to assassinate Gold Ducat, they should have just got the finest fucking Bajoran chick and got her on the station and then shot the bomb to her.
That'd have been the easiest way to do it.
The finest Bajoran chick with a death wish. And then, you know, you could...
Yeah, just don't tell her what's going to happen.
Well, no, you know, she could suicide and then take him with her. For the cause.
For the cause. For the cause. Dun, 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 dun.
It seemed like a good episode when I was watching it back in the 90s.
I saw it recently on Heroes and Icons, and I enjoyed it. Like, I thought it was good.
I felt like there was a lot of character development for Odo.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And and not to jump around too much, but we've been talking for a while, but the ending when we resolve everything and we get back.
That's more than jumping around. That's jumping straight to the end.
Well, when he's dealing with Kira and her, I'm not mad at you, I'm disappointed.
Fucking hypocrite.
I mean, it's just, well, when she murdered
She's a
people.
cold-blooded murderer.
Well, yeah, but he's not a paragon of justice like Odo has always.
That's the mythology they built up for him.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
that's the thing. They're like holding him accountable for how they saw him. It's like,
Yeah.
he wasn't ever trying to be that for you guys. He was just trying to do his job.
He's just a man.
He's just I mean, we're all just, you know, we're all just people. You can't people love people, so why could it be? You and I should get
I mean, at
along.
the time, it came across to me, at least, that he thought he was doing the right thing. It wasn't like he was trying to, like, you know, get some innocent people killed. 25 to life. Dun dun. But like he wasn't trying to you know, execute some innocent people. Like, he thought he was doing the right thing. So she was kind of just being a hard ass on him for no reason.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was getting sweat by Gold Ducat to come up with results fast. So he did best he could.
Either you come up with 3 people for me to kill, or I'll just kill 20 people and make sure I get the right ones. How about that?
That's a good way to look at it, I think. Very
How do you
fair.
pick
That's
the
fair.
I mean, it puts you in a horrible situation.
Horrible.
It happens around the world, even today.
Even today it happens. I think, you know, I mean, they can't hold Odo to such a high standard. He's just a dude.
Yeah.
And he's not really even a dude. He's kind of like a shape-shifting thing.
I had no idea that Red Foreman was a shapeshifter.
I thought he was a really convincing Cardassian in this episode. He did a really good job.
Well played. I mean,
Yeah.
I saw when they were at Quarks and when he started talking, because I'd forgot he was in the episode. And so when he started speaking, it was just like, oh shit, Red.
Yeah, it took me a minute. I was like, who the fuck is that dude?
I immediately hated him.
I saw his name pop up, Kurtwood Smith. So I was like, oh.
Kurtwood Smith.
I've hated him since Dead Poet Society. I blame him for driving his son to suicide, and I'm just like, I've known parents like that fuck, and I'm just like, if you haven't seen a fucking 40-year-old movie at this point,
Yeah, dude. Spoilers.
you know what? Guess what? The Iran hostages, they get fucking let go.
God damn it!
Uh,
I had that DVR'd.
History spoilers, bro. What the hell?
Take a class. But yeah, I've just that character. You know how some actors can play that one character that is just stuck in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since then, anything he's been in, as soon as I hear him speak, I'm just like, yeah, fuck this guy.
He was a good hard ass.
He was.
Doesn't
I mean,
matter.
they do.
That's what made him great in RoboCop.
Yeah.
You know, he's a piece of shit in RoboCop, but
Yeah.
you know, at least he didn't make anybody kill themselves.
Well, he did all the killing himself.
He did the killing himself.
They do a good job of like casting B Company and like special guest stars on this show.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like you have Nurse Ratched who's always showing up, and then this guy, and then what's his name? Who I love so much, the Klingon dude with who we see a lot later.
Jay
Martok.
Martok.
Yeah, Martok is awesome. Garrick's great. Like the show is casted really, really strongly. It's wonderful.
I'd love to meet Garrick at a convention. He's one of the actors that I would just be like, hey, awesome job, dude. Shake, handshake, and I'd be happy.
And then he'd probably say something like kind of swarmy, maybe hitting on you, and you couldn't tell. Like, does he want to bug me? I can't kill me. I don't know. I can't figure out what he's going for here.
Wait, or should we meet?
Perhaps I could fit you for a suit one day, Benjamin.
I don't know how to take that.
I would love to have you in my shop.
Yeah.
By shop, I mean my butt.
I need an adult. I'm scared.
But yeah, so like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to say it's like a one beat episode, but it's a good beat.
I think this episode, it probably needs commercial breaks because it all is just kind of one continuous, like there's not a whole bunch of scene changes or anything. It just kind of goes.
It's
So
true.
if you watch it like on Netflix, it's just it gets a little tedious after a while.
It does.
But if it had commercials to break it up, it might be like, oh yeah, that's right.
I never really thought about that while watching this show now at all. That's very interesting, Dennis. It's weird that it's taken us 7 years to get to that point. Like, hey, you know what? If you put commercials in this, I bet it's probably a lot different to watch.
Well, and I only thought of that because you said you saw it on Heroes and Icons and you liked it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Maybe if it had commercial breaks, it might be a little bit better.
I thought it was a cool episode. I still think it's a cool episode. It's a lot of character development, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
It goes further into the, I guess, theory that we have that there's blood on everyone's hands on Deep Space Nine, and they say
Literally.
so. Yeah, and they say so. That was a little too much foreshadowing for me with that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's really wonderful. And I was telling Stephanie because she hates Deep Space Nine, like she hates it. Like she doesn't find it enjoyable. She doesn't like any of the characters. She doesn't like the show. She thinks like it looks like they're hanging out at like an airport, like terminal.
Kind of
It is.
Yeah. Like they might as well have a Hudson News
Space
stand.
Wings.
You know what I mean? It's
That
like
would be awesome if they did.
Space Hudson News.
See, I always looked at it like
It's on news.
like it was more like Gunsmoke. And when they were talking about that early on, when it was coming out, that they made the comparison to Dodge City and Gunsmoke.
Oh, totally.
And when they did that, it was one of those things where I grew up watching Gunsmoke, so it was like, oh, I get it. And then people passing through, and occasionally you leave town, but it always centers on coming back to the town.
Gunsmoke's one with Matt Dillon, right?
Yeah.
So who's Matt Dillon in this analogy? Is it Cisco or is it Odo?
Cisco. Cisco's the star, so Matt Dillon's the star.
Matt Dillon.
Not the actor Matt Dillon, but
We know, man.
Peter Graves' brother Matt Dillon.
Peter Graves. But I was telling Stephanie, it's like this show makes Discovery possible. Like you wouldn't have Discovery without Deep Space Nine, because the ending of this show is, Nerys comes in and she confronts Odo and she's like, I don't know how to feel about all this stuff. Like, we looked up to you. We thought you were the best thing ever. And here you are. How many more people? Like, is this the only one? And he's like, yeah, I couldn't tell you. And then it ends. Like, that's it. Like, there's no, like, there's no like happy
Yeah.
good feeling at the end. There's no
I know everybody else was okay.
Yeah, there's no
they don't
like
care that they don't want to try to make you feel better about things.
yeah, they're just telling a good story because like at the end of like the original series, like there was always like a three-way huckster moment between the three of them where there's like an inside joke and like Kirk might as well like as the camera freezes, boom.
Spock, I think
Yeah.
you've got a hard on.
Yeah.
I'm more human every day. Go fuck yourself, alien. Back to your station.
Yes.
Dance Green Boy.
But yeah, so this is
the only TOS episode I can think. I haven't seen them all,
Mm-hmm.
and so Ben can spot check on this. But like the City on the Edge of Forever is the
And he
only I
will.
can think of that ends on a downbeat like that.
Yeah.
Let's get the hell out of here.
And that's the cool part about about Deep Space Nine is before you never had that with Star Trek. It was always they ended on a positive, like most of them end on a positive note, where it seems like this show never ends on a positive note. You're always just like, damn, dude.
Well, between the dark setting and then the serialization that we start seeing more and more of as it goes on, as the studio starts focusing on the movies and on Voyager, and they forget that there's another team making DS9. They start doing, like they were saying in the book, they start, doing their own thing. And one of the things that Ronald Moore was bringing to this was the serialization, where you have storylines and story points that go on for multiple episodes and throughout the season. And you're just like, oh, okay. So this feels more like a cohesive real world thing where shit that people did comes back, 3 seasons later. And you're like, what?
Yeah, that's what's cool about it,
But TV back in the 90s wasn't like this.
No, not at all.
And so this was groundbreaking. And so, of course, the studio was like, no, what the fuck are you doing?
Stop.
You're going to break it.
This will pay off in 20 years.
Yeah. And now when you binge it, I mean, DS9 was made, and I think that's why we're seeing such a resurgence in DS9 popularity, where I almost probably at least once a week now, I will see somebody who's not in our circle make a post about DS9 and be like, why the fuck did I never watch this back when it was on?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, probably because you were in 3rd grade and not smart enough.
What 3rd grader is not watching DS9 though?
Or you were too wrapped up in fucking Voyager
childish.
like a dummy.
Yeah.
Daddy, I want to go Quarks.
And I kind of look at it, and I know they're totally
I wanna
different
play
shows,
Marvel.
and they're not supposed to be compared that way. But like, I look at the Orville and Discovery in that way. Like, yeah, or everybody likes the Orville because it's like TNG, but I've seen all that shit before, so I don't give a fuck.
I do.
Is it like TNG?
I mean, it's kind of got that vibe to it.
It's happy and positive.
How's the new season been?
Fuck if I know.
Oh, you haven't watched it yet.
It started the 1st of January. I've had shit going on in my life, so I haven't.
All right.
I'm lucky to watch it. There's a lot of
Assassinating your character here.
there's a lot of
I haven't heard good things. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, so far in season 2, you haven't heard it's good?
Hmm.
That's good.
well, they did this fucking great.
Are you watching it, Bob?
Oh, no, fuck no. I hate
Oh.
Seth MacFarlane. Like, there's no way I would watch that show.
His beady eyes.
I just don't, and his stupid delivery sounds so phony.
Yeah.
I just don't, not a fan of that guy.
Loved A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Really?
Yeah,
I think you're the only one.
I could be. I mean, I don't like. I hate American Dad.
That's because that show sucks.
There's
Seth
a-
MacFarlane is just very divisive. Like I don't know anybody that's just kind of like, hey, he's all right. Either you love him or hate him. There seems to be no in between. with him.
I'm still bitter about Ted.
Yeah.
Kennedy?
No, the movie he made, because there's a guy who makes a comic, and it's almost point for point. Like Ted ripped.
Yeah, but did the comic have Mark Wahlberg, dude? No.
Oh.
Yeah, but Family Guy was stealing from the Mike and Bob show, so
I don't get me started on that because I sound like a
they
crazy.
have a well-documented history of stealing from.
The Michael McDonald
lesser-known
thing was by
properties.
far the biggest. I mean, when Michael McDonald showed up and was doing I mean, come on, baby.
Now, if
That
one
was
of
the
the
first time I
writers,
almost crashed my car listening to your show.
if one of the writers from Family Guy went on to work for like Discovery, then we know for damn sure that they're stealing from you.
Yeah.
Well, McFarlane is a huge Star Trek fan and did appear on Enterprise.
He probably told the Discovery guys, he's like, hey, how about you have the Klingons have 2 dicks?
Check out this podcast.
It's something I just thought of.
That's funny.
So Seth MacFarlane is actually feeding them information.
Yeah.
He's the one who actually listens. And
He doesn't sleep. He just scours the internet for stuff to steal.
Yeah, and of course Seth MacFarlane's a huge Star Trek fan. I mean, he's doing a Star Trek show. Like the Orville is bad Star Trek. It's like it's 1992 Star Trek, and I don't want to see that anymore.
But we're watching 1995 Star Trek. So
Yeah,
but
but
it's
the original version.
yeah, the original version, not like a fan. It's basically like a fan film.
Even the darkest that Star Trek Deep Space Nine gets, it's still overall a positive outlook for humankind.
Well, even with Discovery, it's still a positive outlook. Like, look at the love. I mean, I think so. I think you're not looking at it. And I just watched it like for a week.
Yeah,
Yes.
I got you. I finally turned off the Star Trek thing in my head for Discovery. And so it was just like, okay, this is really cool. Don't take it so fucking seriously. Put your kilt away and enjoy the fact that they're making, more of a thing that you used to like. So
I think you
once you do that, it's more fun.
I don't know
Yeah.
why Ben's being all sour about it, because like Ben, you enjoyed the shit out of that show.
I do. And that's what I'm saying. Once I turned off the Star Trek part of my brain and said, okay, this is a show that's reaching back, and at least unlike the Jar Jar shit, it's saying, hey, you know that thing you loved about Star Trek? Here's more of it. Oh, here's the Federation emblem that you canonized. Oh, here's a reference to fucking Chris Pike as one of the greatest Starfleet captains ever, and Robert.
We'll see him. We'll see Christopher Pike as the captain
tomorrow
of the Discovery.
Who's the guy on Twitter? And I feel bad, but I'm kind of drunk, so I don't remember his name. Who pointed
That
out
explains it.
that tomorrow is the 17th of January?
Yes, Justin.
And so the fact that in America it's 0117, but in the rest of the world it's 1701.
Now, why are you
I'll
drunk?
watch the fucking season. No, I'll watch the fucking season just because you started it with that fucking nice little pun for your premiere date. I'm like, well fucking played.
Why are you drunk, Ben? What's wrong? Are you sad?
No, I just had a bottle of hooch that needed drinking. So
Interesting.
it won't drink itself.
Now you were talking to someone beforehand. Were you doing like a sexy JO thing or something before? You had to get the courage to do
Why
it?
don't you pan your camera down, Ben?
Because I can only see your top. I can't.
Yes.
Your pants. And it's kind of fun.
I wouldn't call me a top.
And it's fun because you're wearing.
Power bottom? Nice.
That's devotion.
Yeah.
But it's fun too because you're wearing all red kind of, so you just kind of blend into your couch. So it just looks like a head.
I felt bad about it. When I looked, I was like, oh, I've got a red couch. And then it's like, why the fuck did you wear the wine shirt?
But it looks cool. It looks like your head is just hovering. I'm into it.
I should have done more. Like I should have put this is just a throw.
Next week, I want you to like construct yourself an end table.
Boo.
Put your head through the table.
We want it back, Ben.
Yeah.
No, there we go.
There you go. So
next week I'll have the pictures up.
you know what? I've gotten used to the blue tape.
Yeah.
I have not.
In my head, I just imagine what those pictures are, and they're lovely.
They're invisible.
They're wonderful.
And the blank
Emperor's
wall
New
finally
Pictures.
and stuff. So that's good.
All right, so let's rate this thing. Jenny, what do you think?
Oh shit. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I really enjoyed this episode. Like I think what you said about if it had some commercial breaks, I think it might have broken it up a little bit more. But I was kind of like moving around and doing some other shit at the time, so maybe it was enough of a distraction. But I really liked the character development. I liked a lot of shit about this episode. It was good.
Dennis, what do you say, buddy?
Yeah, I say it's like a 6. It's better than just an episode. It's pretty good.
What about you, Ben?
The scene where they're walking through the Bajoran sector when they first get there, and Odo bumps into the guy who's dead with the blasted out chest. I thought that was really fucking cool and set the tone for the episode very well. So I would say about 7.5.
I'm going to say 7.5 too. I liked it. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. I love the scene where Garrick tries to bargain for his friend's freedom. And he's like, well, you know, where's the Latin? He's like, my friend's not free yet. They just throw his ass in jail. I really enjoyed that episode. I love this episode. I think it's cool. I like when you get to see what Deep Space Nine was under Cardassian rule. I think it's fun, you know? So, and Odo, I mean, come on, man. You didn't know. So there you go. Good job, everybody.
Is Jenny frozen or is she okay?
Yeah, I can't tell. A little bit of both. No, she's gone.
Oh,
there she is. She's back.
You're back.
You froze in the oddest position. Like it was really.
Your head was.
It looked like your head was going in, like you were a turtle, and your head was going into your shell. Like you're like, oh. It was really fun.
I think we're having a regional outage with our internet provider.
I've seen that because you guys are both frozen tonight. So
Yeah, that's weird.
you guys is frozen.
And
Right.
when I got home, I was frozen as well.
Okay.
All right. Well, you guys, thank you for listening. We will be back next week. We do this every week. If you're new to the show, there are 307 episodes to download and enjoy. If you've been listening since the beginning, thanks. We really appreciate it. If you've been listening at all, we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we will talk to you guys next week.
Bye.